Good day children, Sai Ram, and welcome back to the third session of Geography lesson number 5, Precipitation. Children, in the previous lecture we have learned about the different forms of rainfall. That is the convectional rainfall, the orographic rainfall, the cyclonic rainfall, and which are the parts of the world they are covering that we have learned in the previous lecture. Now let's continue with our lesson, that is the precipitation. Okay. Now children, see this map given over here. It is a world map which is showing the distribution of rainfall. Okay. You can see this map over here. In this map, see in the box over here, that is the key index. You can see over here the index. According to this index, the light blue color is that part which is having more than 1000 mm of rainfall. While if you see with the light color, the light purple color, that is your places where the rainfall is between 500 to 1000 mm. While if you see the dark purple color which is there, that is your places where there is less than 500 mm of rainfall. Okay, so now depending upon this, you are going to answer some of my question by looking into the map given over here. Okay, so children, the first question I am going to ask is, which region experiences more rainfall? Okay, see this map properly and tell me which region is experiencing more rainfall. Yes, which region? The region near the equator. You can see this equator. This is your equator. Okay, near the equator, between Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn. This full portion. Okay, this full portion is having rainfall more rainfall over here. Okay, understood? Okay, let's continue. What is the reason for low rainfall in the central peninsula India? Where is India? Here is India. Okay, here you can see India. Now the question is asked, what is the reason for low rainfall in the central peninsula India? That means this part, the down part. Okay, why we are having the low rainfall over here? Why we are having the low rainfall? Because this region is the Maharashtra plateau. We have learned about it. Correct? The Maharashtra plateau is a rain shadow region. Okay, so only here you can see the central peninsula India is having low rainfall. Understood children why here low rainfall is there? Because it is a rain shadow region. Now the next question. Why does the eastern part of Central African continent gets less rainfall than the western part despite its location close to the equator? Okay, why is the eastern part of the African continent getting low rainfall than the western part? Why is it so? Because this part over here, that is the eastern part, is having a rain shadow region. So only here less rainfall is there than the western part. Understood children? So this is how, depending upon the map, you are going to answer the questions. Okay, so you have understood how to answer the question? Okay, let's continue then. The next thing what we are going to learn is a rain gauge. What is a rain gauge? Rain gauge is an instrument to measure the rainfall, okay, which is taking place in a particular place. Okay, whatever rainfall, whatever amount of rainfall is taking place in a particular place, that is measured with the help of a rain gauge. Okay, so let's learn what is a rain gauge and what type of instrument the rain gauge is. Now, as we know, rain gauge is an instrument to measure rainfall. Okay, I told you already that it is a rain gauge. It is an instrument to measure rainfall. Now, what does this rain gauge consist of? First of all, the rain gauge is consisting of a funnel which has a specific diameter. Children, I hope you all are knowing what is a diameter. Okay, here is your funnel. You can see over here, this is your funnel. It is having a specific diameter. Okay, the rain falling is collected in the bottle fitted in the gauge. Okay, a bottle is fitted over here. You can see over here that how a bottle is fitted over here in the gauge. Okay, and this bottle is fitted with along with the funnel. The collected water is then measured with the help of a measuring jar. Okay, whatever water is collected in this bottle which is fitted to the gauge, okay, that water is poured into the measuring jar. Okay, if you have seen in this picture over here, what is a measuring jar? This is called as a measuring jar. So whatever water is getting collected over here in this bottle, that is emptied in this jar. Okay, and you can see it is given in millimeters over here. These markings are there. Okay, that marking shows that how much rainfall has taken place over there. Reading is taken every 3 hours and is read in millimeters. Okay, whatever water is getting collected in the bottle, okay, that reading by pouring it into the measuring jar, that is taken after every 3 hours. Okay, after every 3 hours that water is emptied in the measuring jar and the reading is taken. From that we come to know how much millimeter of rainfall is received by that place. Okay, and rainfall is measured in millimeters. The unit of measuring rainfall is millimeters. The instrument used for measuring rainfall is a rain gauge. Okay, now the rain gauge which is there, it is not kept anywhere like that only. Okay, it should not have any obstruction. So the rain gauge is always kept in an open space, open ground. Okay, and that also on a 30 centimeter high flat mount, so that none of the obstructions come in the middle, and the only rainwater is getting collected in the jar. No other water should get collected in the jar. Okay, so this is how we can count the amount of rainfall taking place in a particular place. Okay, so understood everyone what is a rain gauge? So what is a rain gauge? Here we have learned about the rain gauge, that a funnel is there with a particular diameter which is fitted to a bottle in the gauge. Okay, now this is kept on a 30 centimeter mount. Okay, see here it is 30 centimeter mount. Okay, now whatever water is getting collected in this jar over here, it is emptied in the measuring jar. Okay, and after every 3 hours, measure whatever water is being collected, that is measured in millimeters. So understood everyone? Now let's learn about some fact, that is, do you know how much of water does 1 mm of rain mean? Just one. Always we talk 100 mm of rainfall is there in this particular place, 150 mm of rainfall is there in particular place, more than 2000 mm of rainfall is there in Cherrapunji, Mohsin Ram. Okay, so like this we usually talk it, correct? So what is this 1 mm of rainfall mean? If we do not let 1 mm of rainfall water move as runoff or penetrate in the ground or evaporate, then how much water can be accumulated? If we do not allow 1 mm of rainwater move as runoff, just going away, just falling on the ground and just going away, that is called as a runoff, penetrating into the ground, otherwise going inside the ground, or evaporating when the sun is there. If you don't allow all this thing, then how much water will be collected? How much water will be accumulated? Let's understand this by an example. If 1 mm of rainfall occurs over 1 square kilometer area, then we get 10 lakh liters of water from it. Okay, in 1 square kilometer, if 1 mm of rainfall takes place, how much water will be collected by that area? 10 lakh liters of water. Okay, so much of water is collected just by 1 mm of rainfall. Okay, understood this? Now the next question. How is snowfall measured? The previous part we have learned how rainfall is measured, correct? Now let's see how snowfall is measured. Let's see how we can measure snowfall. Snowfall can also be measured. Okay, snowfall is also a precipitation. How it can be measured? With the help of a rain gauge. Okay, it also can be measured with the help of a rain gauge. For this, what they have to do? The container full of snow particles. They have to collect the container having snow particles in it and heat it up. Okay, the particles is heated carefully to melt the snow. Okay, when the snow is melted, it turns into water. Then the water obtained is measured. Now this water which is coming after the melting of the snow, that water is measured with the help of measuring jar. A layer of 120 mm of ice is equivalent to how much of rainfall? 10 mm of rainfall. Okay, so much of water the places getting snowfall have. Okay, just because of the melting of the snow, this much of water they get. A layer of 120 mm of ice is equivalent to 10 mm of rainfall. Understood, children? So even like rainfall, even snowfall can be measured. Okay, let's continue. Fog, dew and frost. So here we in the starting of the lesson we have seen the blades of grass having dew drops on it. Okay, then we have seen the frost, the fog. Okay, now let's learn about this. The condensation and solidification of water vapor. Whatever water vapor is present in the atmosphere, its condensation and solidification, everything takes place near the Earth's surface only, because of which we are able to see fog, dew and frost. Okay, because it is taking very much near to the Earth's surface, so we are able to see fog, dew and frost. Why we are able to see the fog, dew and frost? Because the condensation and solidification of water vapor occurs near the Earth's surface. So we are able to see fog, dew and frost. When temperature reduces, okay, as you all know, when the water vapor, when it is going at an altitude, the temperature reduces over there. Water vapor is condensing. Okay, water vapor condenses, vapor turns into microscopic water particles, small water particles, and they start floating in the air. At times what happens, the density of these droplets increases. Okay, the density of these droplets increases, and just because of this, fog takes place. Okay, how is fog taking place over here? Because of the cool air and the hot air together. Okay, fog takes place. Temperature reduces, water vapor condenses, vapor turns into microscopic water particles and float in the air. Density of droplets increases, fog occurs. Okay, so this is how fog occurs. Next thing, the moisture laden air comes into contact with cold objects. Okay, the air which is moisture laden, already having moisture in it, when it comes in contact with cold objects, if any cold object is there and if the moisture laden air is coming in contact with it, what happens? Because of that, condensation takes place. Okay, condensation takes place and turns that water droplets and turns into water droplets, which cling to the cold objects and is called dew. Okay, so only at the starting of the lesson we have seen the blades of grass, okay, which was having water droplets on it. Okay, water droplets were there on the blades of grass. Okay, that is called as dew. So this is how dew is formed. The moisture-laden air comes into contact with cold objects, because of which condensation takes place and turns into water droplets. Okay, so which cling to the cold object and is therefore called as dew. Understood? Now the next one. If temperature of air is less than 0 degree, okay, if the temperature is going below 0 degree Celsius, what happens? The water droplets which are stuck to the cold objects, they freeze. They start freezing. Okay, now this frozen water droplets which are there, they are called as frost. What are they called as? Frost. Okay, if temperature of air is less than 0 degree Celsius, the temperature is falling down so much, that is, it is going less than 0 degree Celsius, then the water droplets which are already cling to the cold objects, they start freezing. Okay, and this frozen water droplets, they are called as frost. So children, I hope you all have understood fog, dew and frost. So children, that's all for this lecture. We'll meet with the remaining part of the lesson in the next lecture. Till then, thank you children.